Welcome to the third of our series of videos on Data Services Manager version 9.0. In this particular video, we are going to demonstrate the creation of a Microsoft SQL Server instance and database. So this is our dashboard. This is where we left off in the last video. There are a number of things that have not yet been configured, but none of them are completely necessary for the provisioning of Microsoft SQL Server. So let's have a look. If we go to the database section, and first off, if you try to create a database, you'll see that it will tell you that no database versions are enabled. So we have to do this first under version and upgrade. Let's have a look there. And what we'll notice in the version management is that we don't have any images. So that's our first step, is to get the image into DSM. Now, Microsoft don't allow us to ship those images, so it has to be a manual task. We can upload them manually, but another way of doing it is to create an image registry that points to the Microsoft Container Registry, mcr.microsoft.com. And in the repo MS you'll find all the images that are necessary. Just have to wait until the images are synchronized. I kind of sped this up a little bit, but now if I go back to version and upgrade and look at SQL Server version management, the image is available. I simply have to enable it. Now, because this is a tech preview, in other words, it's not yet production ready, it's a good practice to just mark it as a preview while you go through your testing. So with everything in place, we can create our first SQL Server instance. We only have one version that we're shipping at the moment, which equates to SQL Server 2022. Give the instance a name. We select an edition. This is a developer edition, so I don't need to have a license for that. But there you can see we could add FQDNs, custom certs, and at the moment, the only topologies we support is single node. We don't have clustering supported yet. Now selecting an infrastructure policy that we created previously, I can select the storage policies, VM classes, and set the disk sizes for that virtual machine that we're about to create for SQL Server. And I can speed things up. This usually takes a couple of minutes to roll out. But now once the instance has been deployed, we can have a look at the status. We can see it's ready to accept connections. We can get the connection string. We can get all the details about the infrastructure policy, and so on and so forth. Now, Active Directory is also supported in the tech preview, but I haven't enabled it just yet. So now our instance has been deployed. Let's go ahead and create some additional databases on that instance. It's very simple to do. We just select a database instance. You can see it's already selected as we only had one. Provide a database name. Select user type. In this case, I'm going to go for SQL Server Authentication and create a new user, Cormac. But if I did have Active Directory enabled, I could have also used Windows Authentication. I don't have a backup as we saw previously, so I'm going to skip over that section and we just roll out the database. And again, speeding things up, we can see that the database is ready. Why don't you go ahead and repeat that process for another database, but for a different SQL Server user. I'll give it a different database name. I'll select SQL User Authentication again. I'll give the username as Duncan as the database owner and provide a password. Again, no backups enabled, and create the database. And this is a very quick process, actually. It takes only a few seconds to actually get this going. And just give a refresh and we can see now that it's all ready. Okay, so let's try and access the database using some standard SQL Server tooling like Studio. You can see that if I logged in as a sysadmin user, I can get access to all of the databases, including the system databases and the user databases. But let's now try as the user I created. Let's go in as user Cormac and have a connection property go to the default database, which is the master typically, and you can see that I don't have access to do that. However, if I change the connection properties in the connection string here and change the database to the database that I am the owner of, there we go. User Cormac is able to connect to that database. And we'll do one last test. We'll log in as another user that we created. That user was Duncan. Duncan has access to a completely different database. So let's see if he can gain access to that database. It's MSDB02. Password. Connect once more. And there we go. We're successfully connected as well. So hopefully you get an appreciation of how easy it is to set up SQL Server. If you're interested in learning more about the Data Services Manager, why not pop along to cormachogan.com. There's a wealth of DSM information there that you can peruse at your leisure. Thank you for watching.